My mum had a doll for a short period of time when she was in the care home, and which I have to say her care home was fabulous. But I know how much it meant to her, because you'd go in sometimes and as you walked in, she'd go, "Shh, the baby's asleep," and we'd all have to creep around.
And your mum, who'd brought up 8 children.
My mum had brought up 8 children, and I think she'd gone back to a time where it was one of us there, you know.
I just want to show, because it's such a horrible picture, I want to explain why. So you saw the footage, some of the photographs, these are other things. Look, they hung one of the dolls. This was outside a residence window. They also put one in the tumble dryer, and then pretended the doll was boiling in a saucepan, and apparently, allegedly, this has all happened in front of the resident, you know,
I mean,
the doll belonged to.
I can't even get my head around somebody being that sick, to be honest with you, and I can't think of any punishment that is enough for people.
No,
like
then
that.
what would you do? If they get found guilty, they need to go to prison. I mean, I know that it's all being investigated.
I think
now
they need to go into a room with the relatives.
Exactly. Yes. But also, there should be CCTV in all of these care homes. People should be able to check on their parents or their loved ones at any time. You know, there's CCTV everywhere else. Why can we not have them in all these care
people
homes?
always talk, Linda, don't they, whenever that subject is brought up, and we've discussed it on here before, oh, well, you know, what about people's privacy? What about their human rights? Not everybody would want that, you know, to think that their loved ones being watched all the time.
But that's abusing their human rights. What then people are doing to those elderly people?
I would rather have CCTV everywhere and have my relative well looked after than have to suffer something like that. And some of the pictures last year, I think it was, we saw horrendous pictures of 2 care workers beating and hitting. And that image has stayed with me forever. But it would be very important to say, I think at this point, that there are some fabulous care homes, and not every care home has this kind of behaviour. And I think in recent years it has been tightened up because of stories like this being leaked or being, you know, footage being taken. And I think it's improving, not fast enough, obviously, but it would be wrong. In fact, there's a comment from Sarah here. Thanks, Sarah. She says, it's carers like these who give nursing homes a bad name. You never hear about the fantastic carers around the whole country that work 12 to 14 hours a day, minimum amount of breaks on a 12-hour shift. And actually, that's true. So I would like to say that up front.
Yeah, they do. Well, as you know, I've talked about it a lot. My dad was in care, and he had 2 care homes, one down in Cornwall, which was fantastic, and another one up here when we moved him up to Surrey to be near my sister and I. There's my lovely daddy. That was just before he had Alzheimer's, actually. But, you know, like you, there are times when I would sit with my father, and so many residents don't have visitors, which is really sad.
It's really upsetting.
But I would watch these care workers, and a lot of them very young, actually, giving so much love and attention, and we only hear the bad stuff, so it is good to hear the good stuff. However, there was never a day when I drove away where I, didn't cry, because we used to think, I shouldn't be in there, we should be looking after him. But our lives are such, you know, so many people, it's the hardest decision you ever make to put your loved one into a care home, and it's not made lightly. But you always have that nagging little seed of doubt. You just think, just say one day he was, you know, wasn't playing ball with them about something, say somebody was a little bit mean to him, and you've got no 100% guarantee. And like Linda, I used to be against CCTVs. I used to say, look, that's almost like passing judgment on all the good staff that work in these care homes, who are fantastic, most of them. That's like passing judgment, saying we don't trust any of you. However, each time I hear something so awful like this, I do think, but why not? If you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't worry about it.
No, but like your dad, my mum was in a care, which was in Marie Curie at Hampstead. She actually went in for a week's respite and ended up being in there for 5 months, and it was the most amazing place. She got the most amazing care. We can never thank the people there enough. But my mum was lucky that one of us would go every day to the home. We'd sit with her, and we'd get there, and one of the nurses would be sitting playing cards with her. I mean, she had the most amazing treatment in there, and as did everyone else. In the 5 months that we were there, we saw so much love and kindness, and we felt safe leaving her. But the same as you said, you still feel guilty. But my mum couldn't get out of bed. She had to be picked up in a harness in the end. There was no way that she could have come home. We would have been able to...
Well, that's the thing I was talking about, even for my mum, to not persuade her to send my dad to a care home, but to try and make her feel better about it. I kept saying to her, but Mummy, you're not a nurse. You know, you can't nurse him. He needs nursing.
And I think the hardest part of the whole thing, because, you know, my mum had eight of us, 8 kids, and I think every single one of us the thing that we struggled with at the time and still struggle with to this day is the guilt that we put her in there. But it was for her best interest.
Yeah.
We couldn't. She needed 24/7 care, and we.
You see, that's a very valid point, because in my sister's case, and in our family, we've grown up saying, I never want to go in a care home. But in the end, my sister became, sadly, a danger to herself. Because there she is with my husband, Stephen, and... but she would leave the gas on, or she'd try to get out at night, so she had to be put in. But my mother took me to a care home when I was a child, and whatever is ingrained in my mind, and I've said that there are great care homes, but it's the biggest dread of my life. I don't know why I feel so strongly about it, but I've actually ring-fenced some money so that I could have care in the home. Because I want to stay in my home. That's where I want to be.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because the poll that we carried out, one of the questions we asked was, have you made plans for your own care needs? And, are you thinking ahead for when you might need some care? A massive 93% of us haven't made any provision. Only 7% have. And over a quarter of the people who have relatives in a care home have said they have had to make a complaint at some time.
Really?
Poor food, the relative not being helped with eating and drinking. We talk a lot about, they're left and they haven't eaten something and someone takes the food away. Left in wet clothing, lack of attention.